What's going on, everyone? This is Logan Landers with 100 Yards Football here for your Sports Minute on this Friday afternoon. Today, I'm going to be talking about Ty Simpson and answering the question of if he can be possibly the next Joe Namath or even Ken Stabler for the University of Alabama in 2025. Be sure if you enjoy the episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe on Facebook as well as on YouTube, and go download our podcast available each and every single week on any major podcast streaming platform. Now, before we look at the future here in Ty Simpson, let's go back to the past and look at the two legends we're going to be breaking down today and comparing to the young star in Ty Simpson. First, we're going to start with Joe Willie Namath, played at Bama from 62 to 64, of course, under Coach Paul Bear Bryant. 29-4 overall as a starter, and as we know, the national championship there in 64. Great arm strength, mobility, ahead of his time back in the day. Over 50% completion percentage, 2,700 yards over that, as well as 25 career touchdown passes, more than that at Alabama. Bear Bryant said he was the greatest athlete, that he's ever coached. And we know what he did in the NFL. There's not a whole lot more to say about what Joe Namath did and the mark he left, not just in Alabama, but on the game of football. For Ken Stabler was there from 65 through 67, also with Bear Bryant. The Snake, one of the best nicknames in football history, from Foley, Alabama. As we know, went 11-0 in 1966. They're number 3 in the polls that year. And we know the run in the mud, of course, against Auburn, the legendary moments he had with that 47-yard run, and kind of cemented his legacy there for the Crimson Tide. He had over 1,800 yards, over 9 touchdowns as well, over 700 yards rushing for the squad, which also we didn't see a whole lot of rushing attack, a whole lot, but Ken Stabler was kind of a pinnacle and a trendsetter in that regard. And when you look now at Ty Simpson, he's a young man who is coming into this season poised, right, and is ready to take over the leadership there with Alabama, a team who is hoping to get back to the mountaintops and back on top of the college football world. So we haven't seen a whole lot of him play at Alabama, not anything meaningful, mostly just, all right, the game's over, we're up by 25, 30, 40, 50, whatever it may be, get in there, Ty, throw a couple passes, and just keep it clean. But we have to go back to his high school days to really break him down, to see his film, to look at his footage, and to see how good he was in high school and how good he's expected to be for Alabama this year and into the future. Now, he attended Westview High School out there in Martin, Tennessee from 2018 through 2021. He's been with Alabama since 2022. Highly recruited. He played under his father, Jason Simpson, there at Westview High School. And he's one of those guys who's a pro-style, dual-threat quarterback, 5-star rated across multiple platforms. Some people had him as number 2 quarterback in that draft class, top 20, top 30, wherever you name it. He was highly recruited. He had schools wanting him like Clemson, Tennessee, of course, Ole Miss, but he ultimately chose to go to Alabama, where Nick Saban was at the time. Now Kellen DeBoer is there, and he's going to be his head coach through his tenures. In his high school senior season, he had over 2,800 yards throwing, just 3 interceptions compared to 41 touchdowns. He ran the ball also for 862 yards with 11 touchdowns on the ground, and he kept his completion percentage at over 70%, leading Westview to a Tennessee 2A state championship in that final season. He's voted the Tennessee Gatorade Player of the Year for that year, as well as Mr. Football out in Tennessee, and was also an Elite 11 finalist there, which is a quarterback camp where they have all the best high school players in the high school ranks go at each other, and he was a finalist in that one. Now, he's got good mobility. He's got good arm talent. He's also been called a vocal leader by his teammates. And some people are comparing him as a kind of a mix between Mac Jones, who was also a great Alabama quarterback, and Josh Allen. He's a smart player. He doesn't make a whole lot of mental mistakes. He knows the right plays, the right throws to make. And he's been sitting, buying his time, just waiting to really kind of wait and see how his career is going to unfold at Alabama. But I mean, when you just kind of look at the statistics, when you look at the attributes and everything kind of coupled into one, Ty Simpson could be someone to look out for as a definite ball player, definite guy who is going to maybe, spin some heads this year and how well he plays. And who knows, he could put his name right up to those legends like Joe Namath and Ken Stabler, as well as many other great Alabama quarterbacks of years past. And who knows, maybe Ty Simpson could etch his name into that history book. But it remains to be seen. We'll see how he does this upcoming 2025 season for the Crimson Tide. Once again, if you enjoyed this episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've been your host and producer today, Logan Landers. Guys, take it easy and enjoy your weekend. We'll see you again on another episode of the Sports Minute. We'll see you